Welcome to writing equations in slope-intercept form. The best way to use the videos is to watch with your notebook and take notes while I'm teaching. Pause the video often so that you have a chance to write down everything while I am teaching it. Every time we get to a you try, pause the video, try the problem, and then press play when you're ready to see the work and the answer. In this video, we'll cover the following topics. Let's talk about slope-intercept form. Slope-intercept form is a type of linear equation. It's always of the form y equals mx plus b, where m is our slope, rise over run, and b is our y-intercept, the point where the graph hits the y-axis. So if we're looking at a graph, we've got our y-axis and our x-axis. We're looking for where the graph hits on the y-axis. Be careful though, a lot of students mistake that the y-intercept would be y, which makes a lot of sense, but in this case, it's actually the letter b. Let's practice writing equations when given a graph. When we're writing an equation of a line, we need to have y equals mx plus b. So our goal is to fill in the blanks for m and b. So y equals blank x plus blank. Well, let's see if they give the y-intercept. If we can see where along this y-axis the graph hits. And we can see that it hits right there, and that's at -3. Now, we learned in the last lecture how to count slopes. So when I am looking along here, I don't see it hitting in the corner anywhere except for right there. So we're going to count our slope from this point up. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4. Our rise is +4, and we go over 1. Our run is +1. So our m is 4 over 1, which is the same as 4. So our equation is y equals 4x minus 3. We've got 2 more examples. Feel free to skip ahead to the you try if you feel confident. All right, so we're doing the same thing here. It asks you to write an equation, so we're going to write y equals mx plus b and see if we can fill in the m and the b. So y is equal to blank x plus blank. Let's start with our y-intercept. Looking along the y-axis, I see that the graph hits at the value 1. So now I'm going to look, okay, not hitting in a corner, not hitting in a corner, right. There is another point. So we're going to rise down -1. And we're going to run 1, 2, 3. Our run is +3. So our slope is -1 over 3. So you could circle this equation right here, or you can always write it again. -1 over 3x plus 1. One last one together. Y equals mx plus b, replacing our m and replacing our b. I like to start with our y-intercept. We're looking at the y-axis. We're looking along this here. We see that it hits at the point 4. And then we're going to count to this point here. We're going to go down 1, 2, 3, 4. And to the right, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So our slope is -4 over 5. And you can just circle it right there. Go ahead and give these 3 examples a try. Press pause, and when you're ready to see the answers, you can press play. Take a look at how you did, check your work, check your solutions, and then we'll move on. We're now going to write equations without the graph. So to write an equation y equals mx plus b, you do need m or b. And in those last examples, they gave us m or b, but they could give us a variety of other things. We're going to start with when they give us m and b. So in this example, they want us to write an equation of a line. Every time I see that, I think y equals mx plus b. And in this case, they actually give me the slope. I'm going to write the letter m, and they give me the y-intercept. I'm going to write the letter b. And so the equation is y equals mx plus b. My slope is 2, my y-intercept is 9, and I'm all done. Y equals mx plus b. Slope is m, y-intercept is b. So y equals -16 plus -3. You can always rewrite that You can keep the plus negative or just have a subtraction. You try these two and press play when you're ready to see the solutions. How'd you do? All right, so we've dealt with m and b. Now let's take a look what happens if they give us m and 1 point. So just a note, it is going to get a little more difficult as these examples go on. So now what happens when we want to write an equation when they give us m and 1 point? So notice we have the m, that's good. We don't have the b. So that's the problem here. We need to find b. So in this example, they say write an equation. Automatically, I'm thinking y equals mx plus b. They give me the slope is 2, but they don't give me b. Instead, they give me a point. Now this point can be labeled x, y. So if I take a look at y equals mx plus b, I actually have a y value, 3. I have an m, 2. And I have an x, 1. I'm just missing that b. So let's sub it in. Y is equal to m x plus b. Well, I know how to solve that. 3 is equal to 2 plus b. Subtract 2 on both sides. 1 is equal to b. Now be careful, don't circle that. They want an equation. So y equals mx plus b. We'll do one more like this. Write an equation of a line. Pause. Anytime you hear equation of a line, we're always thinking y equals mx plus b. They give you the slope. They're being a little tricky here because they use the word slope, but I'm going to replace that with the letter m. And goes through this point. I'm automatically labeling that x and y. Now, instead of y, I've got a 1. Instead of m, I've got a negative 1/4. Don't let that fraction scare you. Instead of x, I've got a negative 2. And I don't know b, but I will figure that out. So we've got 1 equals, go ahead and type that in your calculator. You get 1 over 2 positive, negative times a negative, plus b. We're going to subtract 1/2 on both sides. Use your calculator. Don't be scared of fractions. And we get 1/2 is equal to b. Y equals our m, negative 1/2, x, plus 1/2. Go ahead and give these 4 examples a try. Pause the screen and press play when you're ready to see the answer and my work. Moving right along, our last set of examples here, we dealt with m and b, we dealt with m and 1 point. Well, what happens if they give us 2 points? Well, when we write equations, y equals mx plus b, remember we need the m and we need the b. Well, they give us 2 points. We don't have m and we don't have b, but we can figure them out. So let's take a look at this first example. Write the equation of the line. Anytime I'm seeing write the equation of the line, I think y equals mx plus b, but all they give me are points. Well, I either need to find m or b. Well, we actually know how to find m when we're given 2 points. We've got the formula y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. So let's label this x and y, x and y. This is my first ordered pair. This is my second ordered pair. Always do a fraction bar subtraction symbol. y2 is 4, y1 is 3, x2 is 3, x1 is 1. 4 minus 3 is 1. 3 minus 1 is 2. I have the slope is 1/2. Now, if you recall from our previous examples, now we actually have slope and a point. We can find b. Now, it doesn't actually matter whether you use the first point or the second point. My general rule of thumb is to pick the point with the least amount of negatives. In this case, it doesn't matter, so I already put a star there. Let's use that second point. So we've got y equals mx plus b. In this case, y is 4, m is 1/2, x is 3, and we are looking for b. Don't be scared of fractions. 4 equals 3 over 2 plus b. We're going to subtract 3 over 2 on both sides. You can type that in your calculator. We get 5 over 2 is equal to b. Remember, don't circle that. We want an equation. So y equals, our slope is 1/2 x plus our b is 5/2. That is the equation of the line. I'm going to do one more example, and then that's it. You'll do a U-try, and that'll be the end. So we're going to write an equation of the line. Y equals mx plus b. They don't give us m or b. They give us 2 points. So we can find our m. That's our y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. xy, xy, first ordered pair, second ordered pair. Fraction bar, subtraction symbol. The more you do the slope formula, the easier it is. So y2 is -3. Really careful, we got a lot of negatives here. y1 is -2. x2 is -2. And x1 is -3. So two negatives make a positive. -3 plus 2 is a -1. -2 plus 3 is a +1. This simplifies to -1. So our slope is -1. I like to put that off to the side. Now we've got slope. Now we need to find b. You can pick either ordered pair, this one or that one. I always say pick the least amount of negatives, so it doesn't matter here. We'll use the first one. They both have a lot of negatives. So y equals mx plus b. Be really careful. The y in this one is -2. The m is -1. The x is -3 plus b. -2 is equal to +3 plus b minus 3 on both sides. We get -5 is equal to b. Careful, don't circle it. The directions want an equation. Y equals m, -1x, minus 5. You could also write this as y equals -x minus 5. You don't have to show that coefficient of a 1. Okay, you try these 4 examples. Press play when you're ready to see the solutions. Here are the answers to 1 and 2. Pause it to see if you got the right answer. Check your work with my work. And here are the answers to 3 and 4. And that concludes the video on writing equations in slope-intercept form.